If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Tom, good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here today. You got your scissors ready for the ribbon cutting?
I do. I'm trying to sharpen them up. That's not easy. Those suckers are big.
You got a big ribbon cutting today, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. Lakeside Stone has used to be between Oak Grove and Childersburg, and they have moved into Childersburg proper. Even made sure that a small triangular tract of their property was annexed into the city of Childersburg so that they would be in Childersburg, what a lot of folks refer to old-timey as Childersburg proper, and they are so excited. They've got a fabulous new facility. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the details of it throughout the day today, 11 to 2 specifically. They're celebrating their grand opening, and at 12:20, give folks a little bit of time to get off work for lunch and come join the festivities there at Lakeside Stone. 12:20 we'll actually cut the ribbon. And
now the open house is specifically that is to showcase that business.
Absolutely, and their new facilities, they were always good, but now they're even better because the facilities and their growth, they match their talents at stone cutting and such as that. So it's an exciting day for them. I've been in contact a lot in the last week or so, and to say they're getting a little nervous about the whole thing, they're excited. They are just so excited, and this is one of a whole string of ribbon cuttings and grand openings that are coming to our area.
That puts a smile on your face,
oh,
doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of like the folks over at Lakeside Stone. Makes me a little bit on the nervous side because there's some steps that I have to take as part of this, and it's an awful lot of fun. It's an exciting time to be a part of our area. We have a lot of growth, a lot of possibilities that are working their way toward joining the ranks of those who are cutting ribbons, and I've got like 4 or 5 more just in the next month and a half or so. So it's an exciting time. Just have to get the buildings finished up and all the businesses set up, and it's like I said, it's an exciting time to be a part of this area.
Tom Roberts, the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce. I guess I did see on social media something you talked about last week that Jack's is going to start accepting applications.
Absolutely. In fact, City Hall, Childersburg, September 10th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can sign up for an interview there. It's my understanding that besides the staff they have ready of a management nature, they're going to be hiring somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 people, and that's always a positive. And one aspect that a lot of people don't necessarily see in fast food jobs, but they go a bit beyond just a part-time minimum wage thing. For those who put forth the effort, it's in reality an opportunity to advance yourself. It's like a paid internship to one of the best business schools in America, because they'll teach you everything you need to know about being an entrepreneur. You and I both know a handful of folks who, for all intents and purposes, never had a job outside of fast food and went on to pass on 7 to 10 franchise operations because they learned a lot, they grew, and they worked their way from a basic crew member on up to actually owning the place. Right. And that's something that's entirely possible, if not probable, with the right mindset. And that's something I want to remind folks of.
And you know, when you mention new businesses and ribbon cuttings, it's not just that. It helps with taxes and monies and that kind of thing too. It's very important.
Well, as was discussed last night during the Childersburg City Council meeting, and I'm sure something similar here in Sylacauga, but there's always a need for more revenues to handle things that just happen as in the course of operating a government, and those things are important, and the more things that we have, to directly produce those sales tax revenues. The more jobs we have, the more paychecks for people to spend money. Those things start multiplying over time, and right now we're hitting a pretty strong stride in being able to do that. New businesses are working hard to get open. It's slowed down a little bit along Highway 280 by the road work, which is something that was also a topic last night at the council meeting. Please, please slow down. Some folks are saying, well, they're not doing enough to enforce the speed limit. I think it was something like right at 300 tickets that were written, and those are some expensive tickets, and that's just by Childersburg, not counting the state. So they are out there, and they are doing their part, but it's up to citizens ourselves to slow down, not just inside that construction zone, but on the outer edges of it as you're coming into it, because speeding up and going 55 or 60 in an area that's not designed normally to handle that, it's even magnified to a greater extent when there's construction going on. And it's going to cost you big time you get caught. I mean, that's serious. But wrecks, slow traffic, and those sorts of things, if everybody is a little more patient, take a little bit more time, be so aware, it's going to be a lot better when they get done with all of this, but that's going to take a while. And in the meantime, patience, understanding, and a complete and total lack of road rage is called for.
One thing, Tom, both Alabama and Auburn played out of state last weekend. They play in state from East Alabama to West Alabama, and that traffic is going to be tremendous Saturday. As
far as passing through the Childersburg area with the bridge construction going on, that's going to be difficult again this week. Now, when they move all of the traffic from the old 4-lane over to the new bridge and
when
new
will that
4-lane.
Happen? Any idea?
Well, they're working hard toward getting it to happen, and there's so many factors, holidays, weather, and other things, but it's coming soon, and it will be a part of the football traffic, and it's going to make the football traffic itself a lot smoother and easier, if only because it takes out that red light there at First Street and the Fayetteville Highway. But in the meantime, it is what it is, but even that's going to make it a little bit more difficult on local. So just plan your trips, look for better routes, avoid it if you can, but if you got to go through that area, please slow down and look out for all the idiots, because the reality is they're not really idiots, they just don't know what's going on. They come upon it as they're passing through our areas, and it creates some danger. Some folks want to go faster than the 55 normal. Then it's 45, and then it's 35, and boy, you got some problems, because pulling out and going the speed limit can get you run over, but that doesn't mean you speed up to join their speed, because that just creates more problems.
There's some hot spots that I know you want to mention this morning too, with the way it's set up over there now. Going into the Piggly Wiggly store, there's one of those. Oh,
especially there, because people are trying to turn their way into that shopping center, and if you're not paying attention, or if you're going even the 35, it can be dangerous. But be aware that other folks may be stopping, because there is no extra turn lane right there from turning right into it, going toward Birmingham, or coming the other direction. There's no easy way, so you just have to be on the lookout, be extremely aware of what everybody else is doing. It's tough, I get that, but it's going to get better, and a lot better. But in the meantime, if you just slow down and pay attention, that's going to alleviate 99.9% of the problem.
Yeah. What else going on in Childersburg?
Well, right now there's an awful lot going on. We still have our Childersburg Market Day on Mondays. It's going well and should go all the way through Thanksgiving at least. We have this coming week, the downtown Childersburg branch of Renaissance Bank is going to be hosting our September Chamber Coffee, and that's always a wonderful stop. Janice and her crew are always gracious hosts and hostesses for anything community, but this one's going to be a little on the special side. Mayor Ken Wesson is bringing a whole crowd of dignitaries, some elected officials and other things. So there'll be an extra good crowd and some important elbows to be rubbing. So come on by and be a part of that. Got the 4th annual Sporting Clay Shoot to benefit the children-oriented projects of the Childersburg Kiwanis Club. That's coming up Friday, September 21st. We have the 1st annual Pumpkin Festival coming up in October 20th. It's time to get signed up as a vendor or those sorts of things for those folks. But at the same time, the week before, let's not forget the Fall Family Festival over in Oak Grove. That's going to be an equally big one. That was one of the best festivals I've ever been a part of last year, and we're working on ways to try to improve that. So time to get signed up as a vendor for that, and mark your calendar 2 weekends in a row. It's like the fall version of Coosa Fest and the Grits Festival. You have back-to-back weeks of big events, and that's going to be a big plus for our area. And speaking of Renaissance Bank, as I was a minute ago, hosting the coffee next Tuesday at 8:30. They're also, Janice has been trying to put together a chili cook-off in Childersburg, but with everything else going on, she's had a tough time pulling the trigger on that one. Well, they are sponsoring the chili cook-off as part of the Pumpkin Festival. Okay. So if you're a good cook, come on out and help them raise some money for breast cancer awareness. So there's a lot of things going on in and around. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 businesses that are just within, a month or so of opening up in downtown Childersburg. It's getting to be an exciting time.
Kind of capsule, I know you were at the council meeting last night, kind of capsule some important points of that meeting.
Well, this is one that might just slip right past a lot of folks. But certainly didn't me. My background as an alternative school teacher pointed it out to me. Of all the students that I taught, only 3 of them had an active father in their life. And coming up the 23rd through the 28th in Childersburg and all around the communities all around the country, it's Family Week, and it stresses the importance of, even if you're not together as a family, acting as a family and doing the things necessary as parents to properly support and be an active part of those children's lives, because it makes such a difference. It's kind of like the Alabama Childhood Food Solutions, because food insecurity and not knowing where that next meal is coming from, a lack of strong parental involvement in the life of a child is something that it leaves them, it takes risk and moves it way to the wrong side of the equation, and that's not a good thing. So the proclamation declaring that week as Family Week gives us something very, very much to think of and be aware of. There were a number of expenditures last night of things that, like the investigator's car from the police department broke down, and it's beyond hope, so they're having to take steps for that. That's been a major thing for the city of Childersburg. They are taking a lot of pride in replacing so many old and worn out vehicles in their fleet, from garbage trucks to ambulances to fire trucks to police cars and such. So taking those steps, those are expensive, and it goes back to the revenue you were talking about, and all the aspects of that are coming together at the same time to try to create those revenues to take care of essential things. But they're spending a whole lot less money on maintenance now, trying to use paper clips and chewing gum to keep those vehicles on the road. They've got police officers. This is the third pair of officers just went to the academy, and that's helping them grow their force. And those tiny steps of progress are really starting to show forth and making a big difference, and especially toward the major goal that Mayor Ken Wesson has. He wants Childersburg to be designated, and this takes a little work, the safest community in America, and that's traffic, it's crime, it's everything, but it takes little baby steps and takes you down the road to where you want to go, because that's one of those factors in growing an area that's absolutely essential. If people think of you as a very, very safe place to live and work and go to school and raise a family, those things matter a lot.
Finally, this morning, we're visiting with Tom Roberts of the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce. He's a regular fixture here on Wednesday mornings. It's not going to be long, I'm sure, until y'all start planning for Christmas.
Well, that's already going on. In fact, this coming Monday, September the 10th, glad you reminded me, at 7 p.m. at City Hall, First Lady Tricia Wesson. Now, she has designated that time as the next meeting for the committee that basically oversees all the downtown decorations and the Christmas tree lighting and all the other things that go along with that. But that meeting is important in that the key to the success last year, and it was phenomenal, the number of people who came out and were a part of putting it all together, but then seeing the culmination of it was nothing short of amazing. And people came from all over just to see the downtown decorations. Well, that takes some work, but more than anything else, she likes to deflect the attention away from herself, but it's her leadership, it's her organizational skills, and the ability to take somebody who's willing to say, I'll help, and give them an assigned task that they can sink their teeth into. That's an important part, and she's the mover and driver of that movement. And I'm not sure what all we can do to beat last year, but doggone it, she's going to put forth the effort, and we're going to be better.
All right, Tom Roberts, our guest here on Daybreak this morning. Tom, always good to see you. Hope you had a good Labor Day.
I did. Busy, as you can tell. We've got, and I'm sure I left out about a half a dozen truly important things, but there's a lot going on in and around our area. Be safe, slow down for traffic, and enjoy football season. The teams around here opened the season pretty strongly. How about that Tiger defense?
How about that? 0 points given up so far. Tom Roberts, our guest this morning from the Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce. We'll be back with more Daybreak right after this.